Hello chess family, it's me National Master Jesse James, and today we're going over a very fun game I got to play in the Sicilian. Basically my opponent played one of the most aggressive Sicilians, the Najdorf, and well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how I got to attack the Najdorf. So let's get to it. In this game I'm playing the white pieces. I played e4, my opponent played c5, the Sicilian, knight f3, d6, the old line, pawn to d4, we're ready to play an open Sicilian, which means we're going to make a pawn trade in the center. Pawn takes, knight attacks the pawn, knight defends the pawn, and then here black plays the most aggressive of the Sicilians. He plays the Najdorf with pawn to a6. It seems like such a simple move. Why is it so aggressive? Here black is already looking to play b5, b4, and really just attack on the queen side and try and open up the game there as soon as possible. So typically in this game, black is going to be going queenside, while white is going to either try and open up the center or go kingside attack. Let's get to it. Here I started off with bishop g5, the most common move here. The idea here is very simple. I want to play bishop takes f6 and give him some double pawns. Of course, black doesn't want double pawns here, so they play pawn to e6. Here I played bishop c4. This is one of my favorite ways to play it. This is the Fischer-Sozin attack. The bishop comes to c4, and there's lots of ideas about even sacrificing on e6 in some lines. But the bishop here is just very well placed. Here, black brings the pawn out to b5, attacks the bishop. That's okay. The bishop goes back to b3 over here. It's always nice to have your pieces being protected. And here, black played kind of a tricky move here, queen to a5. What's the idea behind this? Well, the queen jumps out of the pin that we had put over here, but also is threatening pawn to b4 here, which either kicks the knight, and then they can take on e4, or maybe even queen takes on g5, just winning the bishop altogether. With all that being said, they made an obvious blunder here. Bishop takes. Here we're going to be giving them double pawns, and this is exactly what I wanted, so, well, I just get a free tempo for it. So bishop takes on f6 over here, pawn takes back, and now, well, let's go ahead and castle for king safety. Here, you can also think about going queen to d2 and then castling queenside, but this game, well, I'm going to go ahead and go for the standard idea. Anytime there's double pawns here, especially with the bishop over here and the knight putting pressure, you look to play f4, f5. Here, black played bishop b7, and here they have a nice little tactical threat. They want to play, again, pawn to b4, kicking the knight so the bishop can win on e4. Here we go, rook e1, a nice simple move here. Not only does this rook move defend the e4 pawn, but there's also really fun ideas about playing knight d5 here for sacrifice. I'm not saying they work just yet, but it's something that black definitely has to consider. Here, the knight went to d7, and, well, I just really see some really cool ideas here. Most of them looking like queen to h5, but I couldn't help it. I had to do it. Bishop takes on e6 here, and this is going to give me good attacking chances. I'm giving up a bishop for, well, 2 pawns and a very strong check. Here, if my opponent doesn't take back, they're just going to be worse, so pawn takes. Knight takes on e6 here. I like this move. The knight looks great here. The light squares are weak. Black is not going to be able to castle anytime soon. Here, the knight went to c5, which was definitely not the best move here. And, well, let's go ahead and develop the threat here. It's white to move. What do you play here? All right, if you guys haven't already, go and give us that like and subscribe. Remember, liking this video is going to show this to more chess players and help grow the channel. All right, did you find the best move here? Remember, whenever you're attacking, you need to bring in more pieces. So, of course, it's queen to h5 check. Let's not waste any time and bring this beautiful piece into the game. And, well, the king has only one good square to move to. King to d7. And, well, things are just going to get crazier and crazier here. Here, I did go ahead and play knight back to d4, which actually was not the best move here. Believe it or not, the best move here was actually queen to f7 check. And this is really cool. I looked at this move, but I didn't think it was the best because I saw bishop e7 was going to get played. But do you see the follow-up here? Now I'm going to be winning a piece here by force, if not just winning altogether. Here you play knight takes on c5 check, a forced move. Pawn takes back, and then you slide the rook over to d1 check. And after this check here, we're going to be winning the bishop over here. The move I played was okay, but definitely this would have been the strongest way to continue. That's okay. Here after king to d7, like I said, I played knight to d4. The light squares are still very weak. Queen f7 is still a good idea here. And here, it's just a very hard position to defend. Even though I didn't play the best move, I am +1 right now, meaning I am up an extra pawn, even though I did sacrifice a piece. Here, my opponent went ahead and played rook e8. Definitely a good try move here. The rook comes into play, is going to go ahead and attack the e4 pawn, which is definitely looking a little bit weak here. All right, let's keep adding in more pieces. Knight to d5 got played, and well, after knight to d5, my opponent just makes a huge mistake. Here, best move is probably bishop takes on d5, which I have to take back with the queen. Do not take back with the pawn here, and we'll get checkmated after a nice little queen sack. Queen takes e1, rook takes, checkmate. So queen takes back on d5, but here you can see there's many different ideas here. Queen here. White's still having a decent position here. And, well, after this knight to d5, my opponent played bishop e7, and it is now game over. Here I was able to spot the best idea. Here there's many winning moves here, but here I chose the best line, which was pawn to b4. The idea here is kicking the queen away from the defense of the king. Believe it or not, there's only one good square for this queen really to move to, which is queen to a3. As we'll see in the game, yeah, it's just going to be very bad. The queen went back to d8, and unfortunately for them, I saw that this most likely was going to happen because it can't go to b6 because of the knight. It can't go to c7 because of the knight, which only left d8. You definitely want to try to keep your queen around the king because the king looks so unsafe. So when the queen went back to d8 over here, well, it actually took away the escape square for this king. There's only one true escape square right now, which is c8. So here, hopefully you figured out the hint. It's white to move and win. What do you play? Simple chess. All you gotta do is get on the diagonal. So with that being said, you just go ahead and play queen to f5, and now, well, it's like the king is smothered in by all its pieces, except this time, instead of using a knight to smother it, we're gonna go ahead and use our queen. The knight had to come back, and then after that, queen takes on e6 is a check and a mate. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. This was kind of a Sicilian trap over here using my standard idea, which is trying to go ahead and give him double pawns over here on the king side, and then sacrificing on e6 to open up the king. We'll see you in the next video.